Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Today, we're going to be talking about politics, and we're specifically going to be talking about that absolutely dastardly, terrible ruling that the Supreme Court just passed this morning about the immunity of presidents and basically making presidents king or queen. I mean, come on, let's be fair, right? I mean, it could be a queen as well, and making them sort of a dictator. And really and truly, that's what happened here. And so the spirit guides told us when I read about this, they said it's going to crack the door open for down the road for more expansion of, more dictator-like energy. They said this is cracking the door open. Well, you might think that they blew the door off the hinges with some dynamite. I mean, but in reality, they did kick it back down to Chutkan, Judge Chutkan, which is what the guide said was going to happen. And in reality, Judge Chutkan supposedly has to rule what is personal and what is presidential, what is on the job and what is off the job. And this is also what the spirit guide said was going to happen. But I don't think I really understood the magnitude of cracking the door open. And I want to tell you what their message is, because it is mind-blowing to me, to be honest with you. So you might understand, I'm sure you are too, I was pretty upset about this ruling and just feeling kind of like I was sucker punched, or, like what's going to happen next, right? Like, my God, like why are we going through this? What is the point? What is the lesson? Just send us a memo, send us an email, skywrite it in the sky, spell it out with twigs on the floor. We don't care. We just want to know what the hell we're supposed to be doing so we can do it and get through this. Well, as you know, with spirit, they don't like to give you the answers to the test, right? Because then there's that thing called learning that doesn't happen. So they really want us to learn. And that's part of the message today, is that things are not black and white, right? Like, I can't tell you 100% that this or that is going to happen, because it depends on free will. And part of the thing here is humans' lesson. We could be in the streets right now. We could have been in the streets during the Trump nightmare presidency. We could be in the streets over losing women's rights. We really should be in the streets over pretty much everything all the time, because that's how bad it's been all the time, right? But we're not. We're still asleep. And, I've had astrologers on my channel to tell you why we're still asleep, and that we're going to wake up next year and all hell's going to break loose. But right now, we're still kind of asleep. But that's our lesson. Our lesson is, well, if you cared enough, you would get up and you would look outside and see the mayhem, and you would go out there and you would get involved, right? So that's kind of our lesson. And now I understand that I'm involved, and I understand that you're involved, and I understand that this lesson is not even really aimed at us. Yet here we are. Like, we are the ones in the classroom paying attention, and we're still going to fail because because it was a group project. And all of our fellow students were like, yeah, we don't care. We like to repeat this class. We don't care. But we're paying attention because we don't want to repeat the class. The class sucks. We want to move on. But it's a group project, so here we are. So let me tell you the message today. Because I was calling 1-800 spirit guides, and I was pressing 1 nonstop for a long time before they answered. And here's what they told me. And it's a little bit complicated. I'm going to try to get it all out in one fell swoop. And I would also say that it's very Shakespearean. And it also makes a lot of sense as to what they've been saying for the last 18 months. Like, as soon as I put the last puzzle piece together, I knew it was right, because I could see their fingerprints on all the other lessons. I could see the other lessons. And I was like, damn, this is right, because it matches. It's a continuation of the lesson. Okay, so here's the short of it. The short of it is that Supreme Court is allegedly bought and paid for. I mean, I don't know how much clearly I can say that and stay in the realm of not being sued. But, it's pretty evident now, right? That these Supreme Court people, the justices even went line by line through 45's actual court case, his case, and said, oh, this line, right, just this one right here, this one we want to talk about. Oh, and this one down here, we also want to address this. And don't forget about this one over here, we want to address that. They actually addressed his court case specifically. Hello, they're in the bag. We now know without a shadow of a doubt. Now, of course, psychics have been telling everybody this for 3 years, but the rest of the world is going to wake up and go, oh my God, the house is on fire. Why didn't you tell me the house is on fire? And you're probably going to take a swing at them, because I would if I were you, because we've been saying the house is on fire, but they've been picnicking and taking naps and I don't know what the hell they do, but whatever it is, they're not paying attention. So here's the thing. Here's the Shakespearean plot that is playing out before us for our lesson. Trump, 45, look, he has free will. There are good aspects astrologically for him to imbibe too much of something and go too far and check out. I mean, like to the great McDonald's in the sky. However, what's our lesson? Our lesson is to deal with the bully. Remember? Well, we're not dealing with the bully. Remember, we just talked about how everybody's asleep. So the bully is still activated. That lesson is still activated. When you're playing a video game, until you surpass that bully, you can't go to the next level. No matter how many times you turn that damn game on, you're going to face that same scenario that you were stuck at last time. This is where we are. We're stuck in the same scenario. And as long as we need the lesson, he's just a darn good version of it. So he may survive and continue to be our lesson, because he's so good at it and we're so bad at it. And that makes a good lesson, right? So let's say that he does. Let's say that he skips right on through these bad astrological aspects and also everything that I've seen, which is him crossing over. Again, he has free will. I'm not God. I cannot tell you when someone is going to cross over. I cannot. I can say the energy looks like he's going to cross over. Everything is lined up. I've talked to you guys about multiple exit dates. We all have multiple exit dates. If he decided to go to the doctor when he wasn't going to, or he decided to not do whatever that was, then he could pass up that exit date. And especially so if Spirit is like, you know what, we're going to keep you around because you're doing a real good job of really teaching these humans a lesson. So then he gets a little extra help even from spirit guides that says, hey, man, lay off of that, whatever it is you're about to do. And he does. And then he continues to be on this side of the veil and to be a thorn in our backsides. So now let me say, if he gets through this, July and August is going to be bad for him. July is going to be bad. August is going to be bad. I'm not taking back anything that I've said. You guys have to understand, this is freaking probabilities, right? This is air. Okay, I'm reading. I still see a potential coup against him in the convention. I still see that. The energy is still there. Again, everybody has free will. Will Nikki Haley be able to pull it off? Will these delegates that lie in wait to pull some sort of snafu or switcheroo on 45, will they really do it? Right? These are probabilities. It's there. It's pregnant with the energy. But I read the big energy, and the big energy is, 45 would be a better lesson for us. If he gets dethroned at the convention, which I don't think there's quite enough energy to do that. They do want to do it, but I don't think there's enough energy to pull it off. If he gets dethroned, then really Nikki Haley is harder for us in a lot of ways, right? So I'm not sure that I want that. And I would also say, I don't think it's going to happen because of what they showed me. And what they showed me makes so much sense. It just, all the puzzle pieces fit together for this lesson. And it's really Shakespearean. So here's what happens. Let's say he gets through the convention. All right, he's the nominee. We're sailing right through. Biden gets his convention. All right, he's the nominee. We get all the way through. Now, I mean, I'm going to skip over a lot of this because I want to tell you the end. We get through to election day, through whatever happens. And I don't understand it either, but 45 has pretty good polling. He has pretty good numbers. It's crazy, but he does. And let's just say that Biden wins, or VP Harris, the Democrats win, whoever it is. It's not whoever it is. It's going to be Biden or VP Harris. Period. End of story. Nobody's going to remove Biden. I don't want Biden removed. If you go into comments and say I say something I didn't say, I'm probably going to reply to you in a way that is a little bit sharp. Okay? I'm not saying that I want Biden removed. I'm reading the energy, and I'm telling you that if something should happen and Biden should step down, VP Harris will be the presidential candidate. End of story. So we get to this election, and Harris, whatever it is, the Democrat on the ticket, wins. However, 45 pulls a stunt like he did the last time, because that's all the indications are, that he's going to pull a stunt, and a different kind of stunt. And what you would have, where it gets Shakespearean is, and why I think this really could be true, it is because Biden, and Biden has better energy for this. I mean, I really think this is going to be a stretch for Biden, not as much of a stretch for Kamala, but a stretch for Biden. Biden might be put in a situation where he has to actually use those, the words they're telling me is extrajudicial, outside of the judiciary, because that's kind of what they've anointed the president with, right? Is outside of the judicial. Biden might end up having to use these very same things, gifts, against 45 to be able to keep 45 from doing a coup number 2, because it might be different, because you might find that 45 says, I'm now the president, and now I'm going to call the army. I mean, it could get pretty dicey. It could get pretty dicey. And I feel like the karmic lesson here, and this is the whole reason this is happening, the karmic lesson here is for Biden to have to use these extrajudicial, horrible, anti-constitutional weapons that he has to save the very Constitution. And the image they would show me is that you're in your house, somebody breaks into your house, and you pick up whatever weapon you have, a rolling pin. You know what I mean? I don't know. You pick up something, a lamp. You pick up a baseball bat. You don't want to hit this person. You're a pacifist. The last thing you would ever do is harm anyone. It's not in your nature. Yet, here's this terrible energy coming right at you. Are you going to use the thing that you have at your disposal to stop the menace? Because if you don't use it, they will use it. They'll take it from you and conk you in the head. the battle royale, the final showdown between the bully and the nice person. Will the nice person use everything at their disposal, including these horrible things that they think are radioactive, that they would never ever use, that they would never even dream of using? Would they tap into that excessive power to protect the country? What would they do? Does this not seem like some kind of Shakespearean tale? Can you see the karma here? Because to me, it all makes sense. We're gonna give you this set of rules. We're gonna give you this set of powers through the Supreme Court. You guys are gonna think it's a horrible thing. You guys are gonna think it's the worst thing that ever happened in the universe. But yet we're giving it to you because Biden is president, and Biden will get to use them. Not before it's an emergency. We all wish that Biden would whip those things out, would say, when can I use them? Like you get a new toy, and you're like, when can I use it? We all wish Biden would do that he would whip this thing out, this new power, and conk Trump on the head. I'm President Supreme Biden. You're a convicted felon. And I don't care if the judge Merchan gave you house arrest, because I am Supreme Biden. You're now going to Rikers. You're going to, Guantanamo, because I'm Supreme Biden. Your people gave me the power to now do what's right against you. Do you see the karma in that? Of course he's not going to do that before the election. Of course he's not. But because he's not, that's going to set up the lesson. Because should he? Probably he should. The Supreme Court of the United States said, presidents have these abilities. Presidents have these powers. So why not use these powers to save our democracy before the 11th hour? But if not, in the 11th hour, you're going to get your opportunity. And it might just be that extra power that you've been given, that you don't want anything to do with, that you think is heinous, that you think is anti-constitutional, that you think is an overreach, that you think is a dictator special, might be the thing that you need to use as president to save the democracy. And in that way, Spirit provided us the very tool we needed to save ourselves. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I'm not kidding. This is it. This is it. This is my whole, this is it. This is what I think is happening. So we have to, again, what we need to do is not panic and not freak out and not be hopeless. Do you think you're helping Biden? I mean, if you're really, truly riding with Biden, like all of y'all are telling me, I'm with Biden. Okay, honey, great. I'm glad to hear that. Do you think you're helping Biden if you're over here telling everybody you're hopeless? Do you think you're helping Biden if you're over there saying on social media, I give up, I'm hopeless, nothing's ever going to change? Because you're not helping Biden. If you really want to help him, you've got to find some other gear or get yourself up off the floor and make the calls that I suggested that you do. We've got to help these senators get in, because even if Biden goes nuclear and uses the very weapon that was given to him by his opponent, meant to be used in a case of complete dictator mayhem, and saves our democracy, we still have a Senate that we got to deal with. We still got a House that we got to deal with. And if we don't have enough senators to impeach these mofos on the Supreme Court, they're going to continue giving us these kinds of rulings. Because the next ruling that the spirit guides told me that they were going to do, because they won't stop talking about it, and they talk about it to me 20 times a day, and I can't pronounce it, so I might just have to pause this video and learn how to pronounce it very quickly. The next thing, according to the spirit guides, and I know they're out of office, they're on their summer break, but they're going to be back in October, and we're not going to have a new president. We're not going to have impeached them by October. We're not going to have impeached them by the end, probably, of their next term, which is, July of next year. Even if we do impeach them, what if they've already ruled before the impeachment? So more bad cases are coming down. And the next one the guides want to talk about is, I got to say it, it's really weird, Obergefell. It is a case in which the court held that the 14th Amendment requires states to license and recognize same-sex marriage. That's what they're going after next, same-sex marriage. And then after that, you know what they're going to go after? Which is interracial marriages, because they don't want any of this. They want a white man and a white woman, and they want a lot of white babies, so they can counteract the fact that white people aren't having as many babies. So gay people getting married doesn't work out for them. They need a lot more white babies because they don't want to lose power to all these other races, including the mixtures. That doesn't work for them either. So that's going to be the next thing they go after. So this is not the end of this terrible, horrible train wreck. Another analogy is the smash and grab. The spirit guides told you before Roe went down that there was a smash and grab on women's rights, meaning you smash the window, you run in the store, you grab all the jewelry or all the goodies, and you grab them and you run off. Smash and grab. It's still happening. And it's going to continue happening. The only way to stop the Supreme Court is through the Senate, to impeach them. Besides, perhaps expanding the court. But either way, we've got to go through Congress, and especially dealing with the filibuster. We have to have enough seats to overcome any kind of filibuster, any kind of parliamentarian holdup. We have to have too many seats to deny us. That's why it's really important. Really important. Biden's got his marching orders. He's probably going to have to grab one of these superpower weapons that are made for dictators and wield it. Our marching orders are to get out there every single day. I'm not kidding you guys. Every day. If all you do is send a message to some senator, hey, have a good day. I appreciate you. I see you. That's it. That's all you got to do. If you got an extra $5, send them $5. If you can send them $5 a month, that's even better, because sending them $25 is fine, but they need to see continued support. I see some of you guys going to the dollar store and buying $10 store greeting cards for $1 each and writing a nice little note and mailing it to some senator or some representative. Probably not even your own, because it really does lift their mood. When you feel like people appreciate you, you're going to do that extra work. You're going to go that extra mile. You're going to have that extra gas in your tank to fight back. And that's what we need. We've got to all get busy, because even if Biden wins, when Biden wins, that doesn't guarantee us a supermajority in the Senate. Yeah, we all see the House and the Senate being Democrat, but it's not going to help us if it's only one seat above the majority. That's a deadlock. That's the worst possible situation we could be in. honestly. We need a real majority. And to get that real majority, you and I are going to have to be more active because, as I mentioned, all these people are asleep. And when they wake up, and I think they're going to wake up before the election, a lot of them, not all of them, but a good portion, they're going to be freaking out. They're going to be running around going, why didn't you tell me it was this bad? My God, they're dictators. They're kings. They're going to take everything. Why didn't you tell me? And I've told you guys this before. You probably want to take a swing at them, or you probably want to yell at them and say, I've been worried. I've not been sleeping. I've been losing weight or gaining weight. I've been working really hard. And now you're going to tell me, why didn't I tell you? Why have you been asleep? And then it's going to be a big fight. And that's not going to help anybody. I would suggest you tell them, yes, things are really dire right now. And you want to know what? Here's some postcards you can start writing. Here's the number to sign up for the text banking. Here's the email to get in touch with our local Democratic club. Put them to work. There's no reason to argue with them. Simply channel their anger, channel their anxiety to something helpful. The same way you're learning to do right now. You're learning to channel your anxiety. Every time you feel anxious, get out that greeting card and a stamp and write something nice on there and send it off to somebody that you admire. It's really going to make their day. If just imagine for a minute, Jasmine Crockett or Moskowitz or Jeffers, or anybody, Swalwell, anybody getting cards. All of a sudden, they don't know why, but they're getting greeting cards that says, we're cheering for you. Thank you for doing the best that you've done for the American people. It's going to be interesting. Their staffers are going to be like, where's this coming from? What is happening here? People are nice. Why are people being nice to us? Because this is the energy we need to be able to build on, to be able to make it over these hurdles into 2025, learn our lesson, get the diploma, and walk off the stage and say, aced the lesson. We aced the lesson. And there are clues that this has been our lesson for the past year. That's how I know this is really a puzzle piece, because it makes sense to all the other puzzle pieces I've gotten. So let me know what you think. Maybe Spirit did us a solid favor by giving us this superpower dictator, decoder power ring so that we can turn around and use it on the bad people. Right? Because I think we're going to have to. And I think it's meant for us to. And then after we use it, we will retire it. We will get rid of it. A lot like the H-bomb. We thought we needed it. We deployed it. We decided we're never doing that again. This, very similar situation. We may need this. Somebody might call it the nuclear option. We may need it to protect democracy. And I think that Biden will do it. I think that he'll do it. I think that it's going to be his lesson to step out of the role of ambassador, the counselor. Sometimes you have to step into the police officer or the judge, and you just have to make a decision. I have to protect what I value most at this time. And here's the only thing I have to use that matches the thing coming at me. I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it because I have to. And then we're going to make sure that nobody ever has to use it again. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks again. for entertainment purposes only.